Well, hello, Internet. Good evening. I hope everyone is well.
Hello, everyone.
I like to think so.
How are you, Mr. Giorgio?
I'm good. I'll say hopefully my internet will survive long enough to stay on stream today.
Let's hope. Fingers crossed. And how are you, Mr. Dan, my fellow founder?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, good. I'll never get over how dramatic that intro music is. It's always inspiring.
It is inspiring, and it gets the adrenaline pumping. But I hope we're going to have a new intro coming very soon.
Excellent. Yes, George has finally upgraded from his internet from being 2 pieces of string and 2 cans. That's his old internet. So should be reversed.
Yeah, now it runs on carrier pigeon.
And of course, we have got a very extra special guest, as far as I'm concerned. We have Jonathan Gilmour himself, the designer of one of our favorite games, or one of the very early games that also got me into the hobby, Dead of Winter, and of course, most recently, Dinosaur Island.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, how have you been?
I've been all right. It's been a couple of years, but I just went to a convention, gathering of friends the last couple of weeks, so that was exciting. But I don't know if I'm ready to get back to the convention grind yet.
Right. Okay. Well, sensible. I mean, some people aren't ready for it yet, so it's never a bad thing. Take your time, get it sorted, make sure you're happy. If you're not happy to get back into it, then it's just not worth any of the issues that go with it.
Exactly.
So, I mean, we're preparing for UK Games Expo here. I'm not sure if you've ever attended UK Games Expo.
No, I've always wanted to. I haven't been able to make it over there yet.
Yeah. I mean, I had someone on TikTok tell me about Gamma, and I was like, okay, that sounds really good. I really want to go to that. But it's just not been one I can justify, traveling all that way for yet.
Yeah.
maybe one day. It's on the bucket list. So we're busy preparing for that. We've got lots going on. But primarily we are just pumped to be chatting to you today. So couple of things before we get started. We may get the odd question live from the internet because we are streaming across Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We get a lot of listen back as well. So if we might get the odd question here or there, I hope you'd be happy to pop on and answer them. That would be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
If not, don't worry. But in the meantime, we'll crack on with the show. So, I wanted to talk to you about Dead of Winter very briefly. You're probably fed up of talking about Dead of Winter.
Oh, no.
I was in two minds about getting the box out deliberately. I didn't know if it was some kind of PTSD from constant Dead of Winter questions. I'm really sorry in advance.
No, not at all.
No, I mean, Dead of Winter came out. How long ago did you design that now?
I think we're coming up on the 10th anniversary of it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
10th anniversary. That's awesome.
I think so. Yeah, it's definitely quite a while ago though.
And what was your inspiration behind that? Because was it one of your first games you designed?
It was probably like the 4th or 5th one. I had done a couple games that I never released, and then I had done a game called Pocket Dungeon, which is a free game. You can just go download it on Board Game Geek. And it's designed to be a dungeon crawler that you play at work. Okay. So it's disguised as a to-do list, so you can play it in meetings and stuff.
I like it.
And it uses a pad of Post-it notes as a randomizer instead of dice. So you can totally hide at your desk and play it. So that was my first thing that I released. And I was actually going to release Dead of Winter as a free print and play game too.
Okay.
I didn't have any dreams of doing this as a job or, working in the industry or being published. I was just making games because I felt creatively stifled, and I was programming industrial robotics at the time and just wasn't doing anything creative. So I wanted to make stuff. And I was playing a lot of modern board games at the time, and I'd always loved zombie games. So like immediately when I saw a zombie game, I would buy it. So, I played Zombies with 3 exclamation points, Last Night on Earth, Zombicide, pretty much all those. And they all did different things, but none of them were the zombie experience that I fell in love with as a teenager. So I kind of wanted to take a crack at doing that zombie game that wasn't being done.
Yeah, I think that's great. I feel like you've really nailed the theme of like a lot of great zombie. I mean, I'm a big fan of the genre as well. And most of them are just kind of dice chuckers, but I feel like Dead of Winter's got the strongest theme of the games I've played, really. I tend to get like one of like the soundtracks like from like The Last of Us or something playing while I'm just it kind of really fits the mood of the game. It's really cool. So. Anyway, I'm going to stop gushing so much and go back to Chris.
No, that's all right. I'm not at all a fan of the zombies. Anything zombie. No, I don't have the Magic of the Gathering.
The Walking Dead edition
mounted and framed just because I wanted them.
Well, it's like,
of course not, definitely.
I mean, I might be making assumptions here, but like with Dead of Winter, the zombies aren't really the menace, are they? It's the other players.
Yeah,
and that's
what's great about it.
Well, yeah, that's the hallmark of like the really good Romero zombies.
Yeah, it's if humanity could unite, they'd probably overcome these slow shuffling zombies, but they can't. In most the most popular franchises, The Walking Dead, it's not the dead people, it's not the zombies you got to worry about, it's the living people. And I feel like that's nailed quite nicely in Dead of Winter. I don't know if that's like was that something you were aiming for when you designed this game?
Yeah, I mostly wanted the zombies to be like the background noise and like a pressure, because that's the thing about them is that it is oppressive, like humanity in a lot of ways. Like they're always there, they're always pushing down, but they're relatively easy to deal with until you throw in that human factor of like, everybody having their own agenda and not really worrying so much, about the greater good and putting their own needs above the group needs.
Yeah, and I think you nailed that really well with the personal objectives. I think the fact you've got one main goal, as in you all want to live, but then, as always, humans they're selfish. They've got their own. I want all the food to myself, kind of thing, and that could be at the detriment to the group. I think it's nailed really nicely.
We're the real monsters.
We are the real monsters.
Yeah,
I've got a good comment from Pete there.
So true.
Well.
Yeah, so Pete cut whole groove as he's living generally making it more threat, making it more interesting. So great point, Pete. Yeah,
and it's true.
I mean, even in games, I know you have the actual full-on traitor in Dead of Winter, but even in games without traitor, they're still really tense.
Oh yeah,
because it's a semi-cooperative. I suppose that's what you class it as, isn't it?
Yeah,
you've got one group objective and then your own personal ones, which they may conflict.
I mean, we love it, and we even did when we did our charity live stream for May the 4th last year. One of the digital games, because it was mid COVID and we weren't allowed to play games in person. We did digital board games, and Dead of Winter was one of them. We actually played online, and it went down really well. It was great. We loved it.
I think I was the traitor in that one, wasn't I?
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
A full-on traitor.
Yeah.
Not that I ever get typecast in these kind of games.
No, absolutely not.
So you haven't got a type at all, Dan.
I have got quite a lot of social deduction games, to be fair. There's just something satisfying about just spreading chaos and disorder amongst your friends. I mean, that just might be me. I don't know, but
No, I love it too.
I'm terrible at them. I'll freely admit it. I always say I don't get them because it's true. Half the time, I've got no poker face. I just enjoy playing them.
Well, your catchphrase, Chris, is I have no idea what's going on. So you just kind of,
and it's true.
You have this constant state of confusion, so we never know if you're the traitor or not.
That's hilarious.
It casts doubt.
Yep.
I'm pretty much always accused no matter what. I just played
Yeah.
Unfathomable the other night. The reprint of Battlestar Galactica, and I was a human, but they accused me the entire game.
I feel your pain.
The guys have played that. I've not played Unfathomable yet, but we are massive fans of Battlestar Galactica. And I will mention it because we've just recently had 2 amazing podcasts. One was an April Fool one. So if anyone's watching, you'll enjoy the April Fool one. Even now, it's hilarious. Our podcast editor has done a fantastic job on that. It's hilarious. So go check it out if you've got a chance. And then, of course, the genuine one, which was the last one was just aired, was our final. Dan got his way and had a podcast dedicated to Battlestar.
It became a running joke that I kind of mentioned Battlestar in every single thing I was involved with.
Yeah. Thanks, Steph, for outing me. Yes, I do have the worst poker face. You are the only person that can properly read me. When I play a game with Steph, that's it. I'm screwed. I won't win. Oh, Pete. With Chris, I love them, but I often struggle to stay hidden. Yeah, Pete outs himself in Battlestar, and thing is, what's so great about Battlestar, and I believe they've kept it in Unfathomable, is if you do out yourself, you're not out of the game.
Yeah, you can still. I mean, to be fair, Dead of Winter does that as well, doesn't it?
I was going to say that
if you get exiled, it's not over for the traitor. They're still active outside the. I love games that have. Player elimination. I think that's the problem sometimes with a lot of social deduction games. Probably more the lighter ones like I don't know, like Bang, that kind of thing. You can eliminate people and then they're sitting out for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's nice to have a plan B for people, especially if they get revealed as the traitor.
Yeah, I try to avoid player elimination in designs just because I mean playing the game's the fun thing. You don't want people not doing the fun thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, exactly. It's difficult. I mean, it kind of brings us on to the next question because, of course, your most recent game. I'm making sure I've got my facts right, and do correct me if I'm wrong. Dinosaur Island.
I think I've had a couple come out since then, but that's my most recent big one. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously well received. It did very well on Kickstarter.
Yes.
I know someone who couldn't make the show. Who is watching, which is Steph, aka Dino Girl. She does a lot of great reviews for us. She has that nickname for a reason, and she absolutely loves it.
I mean, if you did like a dinosaur version of Dead of Winter, she would buy several copies, I imagine.
Listen, I'm on board. We actually, before it came out, we had a lot of discussions about the theme, and we were like, "Are zombies overdone? Like, should we lean in and stick with what we really feel like this should be, or should we do something else?" And we talked about maybe making it like rabid wolves instead of zombies.
Oh, okay.
And I always love the idea of it being dinosaurs instead of zombies, but end of the day we're like, no, this is a zombie game and we need to stick with it and like just embrace that it's
and I'm glad it was zombies. Because it got me back into enjoying zombies. I used to hate zombie stuff, but and then someone was told me that oh my god, you need to watch Walking Dead. I always loved the Resident Evil films and some of the later Ramirez stuff. I'm not so scared of them now. But I was a kid, I was petrified of them. And now I can't get enough zombie, Walking Dead, anything like that.
I mean, what would you say were your big inspirations for the theme for Dead of Winter? Like, was there a particular zombie genre you're going after? Or
Oh, I mean, definitely the Romero stuff, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead.
Classic ones, cool.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of the Walking Dead comic book, not so much the TV show.
I've got that. I could go on a massive rant about the differences between the two, so I get that.
I gave up after the first season. I was like, they're clearly not going to do what the source material is trying to do in the same way. So
yeah,
it may have gotten better. I've heard that it was, but yeah, a lot of obscure ones. Pontypool is one that I absolutely love, but almost nobody's ever seen. In it, the English language gets infected, and it's about this shock jock that got fired from his big city job and is working in a small town radio station, and that's how the infection spreads, is through people talking.
Oh wow! Okay,
that's cool. Quite like the sound of that. That's interesting. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's super good. Very small. But like I loved that because instead of being like a zombie movie in a big city, it's this very small claustrophobic place where they're all holed up and trying to hold out against a smaller amount of zombies. So that kind of inspired the feeling of like this group of people hunkering down.
That's cool. And just to bring back, just because I mentioned, Steph mentioned zombie dinosaurs, which I think is a really cool. Reminds me of a zombie. Did everyone see Black Sheep? It's a zombie sheep movie.
Yes, it's pretty classic.
Hilarious.
That's good.
Someone gets bit and they turn into a mutant sheep, if I remember correctly.
Steph's got a quick question. She says, "Sorry, I missed the start. Jonathan, did you create Pocket Dungeon?" Well,
absolutely.
Yes, he did. He did mention it. And yeah, you said, what was it you said? You said you created it as an excuse to be able to play a game in the office without anyone knowing.
Yeah. I hate meetings, so I wanted to be able to play a board game while I was in a meeting.
That's genius.
Yeah, I love it. I love that analogy. I did not know that. And I think it's brilliant. It's a lovely little thing. But yeah, going back to Dinosaur Island, what was you? Were you the only person involved on the design on that, or was there anyone else in regards to with regards to the rules and the main core design?
I almost always co-design with other people. I really prefer to do that. I think that working in a vacuum, I don't do my best work. Like I need people to tell me when my ideas are bad. And I designed that one with Brian Lewis. It's one of the ones we kind of started with the name first. He had walked by a store and saw the name, saw like something called Dinosaur Island or like advertising something. And he was like, well, we need to make that game. And that's how, we're just looking for ideas. So that's how it started.
Oh, okay. That's always good.
Yep. And then, we started talking about the experience that we wanted. And we're like, well, what if we tried to do you're making a dinosaur theme park, but it's really off the rails and people are getting eaten all the time. And like just lean into the ridiculousness of the theme and do the stuff that, we probably wouldn't be able to do with an actual like Jurassic Park license.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Got a bit more liberty, a bit more freedom with forgive me, I haven't played your dinosaur game. I mean, I'll definitely look into it. But for someone that hasn't,
I definitely know a certain dinosaur girl who may have built a theme park that slaughtered thousands.
Intentionally, was it? I know in Steph.
I think it was semi-intentionally at the time.
Semi-intentionally.
When they, I think she managed to get a ridiculous negative score because obviously as you kill people, your scores obviously deteriorate quite badly. It's not supposed to be your objective. When you go off the bottom of the track backwards,
it's a strange kind of achievement to get a negative score. I mean, just because I'm seeing the game a lot, I must confess. Does it have like Crossroad style story like Dead of Winter, or is it just completely different? Is it?
Nope, it's very different. It's more midweight Euro.
Okay.
So
cool.
worker placement. Kind of one of the things we did is we have different worker placement phases that all behave differently. So you're collecting DNA, and like science is actually done. You just combine different DNA together to make a dinosaur, like in real life.
Yeah, so it's really solid game. I think it's just a couple of minor little production things. It's like the tiny little excitement tokens, which is just like feels like you've spent forever just fiddling around with this.
Yeah, it
So
seems
it's
like there's always something small like that, no matter how much attention you give it.
Yeah. So was there any other consideration for other options of those when you were in production, or is it one of those compromises you have to make with the manufacturers and things where you've obviously got a cost at the end of it?
Yeah, the cost is usually the big driver. Usually towards the beginning of a project, the publisher will say like, we think this would do well as like a $50 12 by 12 game, and then trying to figure out how to make that happen. That game was really one where I learned a lot of lessons designing it, and kind of it was in the middle of changing the way that I design games, because I would always start before like a sculptor, and I would put everything I wanted to in the game and then slowly chip things away to get the experience that I wanted. And then I started designing more like a painter with a blank canvas with just a few little splashes of color, and then I would build out. So in that one, at one point, I think we cut 180 components out of it.
Oh wow!
Because it's already an enormous game, but at one point it was just an insane amount of stuff in the box. And it taught me a lot about like refining the design and learning how to cut things no matter how much I love them.
Yes, well, I love the Dino Girl insists that her massive chomping park was an accident. At least that's what the lawyers apparently say. But so do you think there's more room for dinosaur thing games? Will we ever run out of game ideas for dinosaurs? I feel like we obviously
we've just come up with zombie dinosaurs right now. That's the original idea right there.
We have, the idea right here for zombie dinosaurs.
But I'll let the expert answer.
I mean, I think there's always room to do something weird and different than what the other people are doing. Definitely themes get packed like dinosaurs and zombies, and you see more and more games, but I always personally I try to do something weird and unexpected whenever I design a game, and I think that helps set them apart from what everyone else is doing with the same themes. So I think there's always room. It just gets harder and harder the more the theme gets done.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I the thing with Dinosaur Island, while it's not one I've played, but it's not one I'm going to rectify with Dino Girl at some point. But the meeples look great, and the components look great. But it's had quite a few accolades already, hasn't it? Am I right?
Oh yeah,
it's had a Golden Geek. Is that correct?
We were nominated. We didn't win the Golden Geek.
Oh right, okay. You wouldn't. So, and still, a nomination is always a nice accolade.
Mm-hmm.
And another one was thematic game as well, if I understand correctly.
Yep, and it's still like in the top, like maybe 10 or 15 in the thematic games category on BGG.
That's good.
Nice.
That's great. That's great. And also a rolling for crit. Oh, so there's several. Considering it's been out in the last couple of years, that's a great kind of nod to the designer. How does it feel for you when you get these nominations for your game designs?
Oh, it's fantastic. I love obviously seeing that, and that it's a huge honor. But more is like just having people come up to me and telling me that the game connected with them and they had a fun time. Like I really love hearing when somebody says like, this game's their favorite game. And I think that's one of the most attractive things about designing games for me is I really like making people happy. So it's great to hear that whenever, whenever I talk to people at conventions or doing appearances and stuff.
No, it's great. And we, as a group, before we started doing the Let's Talk Board Games chat show, before Wild Diary of a Lincoln Geek was still quite new, Dan and myself, were a part of a group called Cylons Anonymous. Dan basically started it, and we were playing Battlestar Galactica a lot.
Yeah, that started the obsession many years ago.
It was.
We weren't a board game group. We were a Cylon, a Battlestar Galactica group.
Yeah. We're all toasters. And Dan obviously brought in Dead of Winter. And that's where I was introduced to yet again another game, which is never a bad thing. And the obsession just grew. It was like a virus because I'm a geek anyway. I'm a massive hobbyist. I always have been. I'm into miniatures, tabletop board games, card games, all sorts. So it kind of grew, and the obsession just fed itself. And as a group of us us 9, because there's 9 of us that are a part of Diary of a Lincoln Geek, we've got a massive board game selection, but we try not to cross over too much because or you'll end up having the same games. And we've started doing this with Kickstarters. So and of course, from being a games designer, just how affluent the market's been with Kickstarter, and also since COVID. And what's your personal perspective on what's happened and how it's affected the games industry? Because mine is it's positive, it's great, but there's also a small degree of flooding, and you can't back everything you want to because no one just has that much money unless you really do have that much money to waste. So we try not to cross over. But what's your perspective on it?
I mean, I agree that there is a glut of titles. Obviously, the numbers are astounding of how many new games come out every year, and it's more and more and more. And sales have, honestly went up for the most part during COVID because more people are staying at home and not going out. So they're looking for hobbies like this. But I think overall, it's a good thing because with more games coming out, it means that the designers have to try harder to do new, unique things and stand out from the market. So I think we're seeing better games than we've ever seen before because of that competition driving innovation and new things. And also, like, as it becomes more prevalent, we're seeing a much more diverse group of voices designing games. So it's not all the same perspective telling the same stories. We're seeing more and more, interesting things from people from different backgrounds, designing these games that are really incredible and different. And that's, to me, amazing. Like, that's the best thing.
It is amazing, and we're seeing it done on a myriad of platforms these days because you don't just have Kickstarter now. You've got GameFound. You've even got people trying to design and publish their games through TikTok. It's crazy. There's I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, but there's a young lad in America who's trying to self-publish his game through TikTok, and it's a really inspiring project, and it's very it's amazing. But what I find interesting is Kickstarter is one of the big platforms for board games. Don't get me wrong. Just in the games category, if I was looking at the stats, I think they did something like 1.77 billion in just games, and that includes board games. It's not broken down. That entire games category, that's a lot. When you consider the technology was done was 1.8 billion. Games did more.
It's their biggest category for sure.
And that doesn't include other companies, other Kickstarter companies. It's unimaginable. It blows my mind.
Because you have companies like GMT that do their own P500 process where they pre-order through their website, so they kind of do their own Kickstarters, and you have companies that do pre-order campaigns too. So that's not accounting for any of that. And I think it's a wonderful tool because, again, it's increasing the number of, diverse voices out there that are making games and able to get their games made. I think there's a lot of downside to it too, because I think people see dollar signs and don't understand the huge risk that comes with publishing your own game. And especially right now with the global shipping crisis and container prices being through the roof and cardboard prices being through the roof, it's very easy to lose more money than you're making trying to be a publisher.
It's scary.
Yeah.
We had a friend of the channel, very, very similar situation. Their game did very well, but unfortunately they got stung by the shipping crisis and they had to fork out. And they were very honest. They went to their backers and they explained the situation, and their backers actually helped.
Oh, that's so good.
Were willing to pay the extra shipping, or they would have lost tons. It's scary. And it's difficult. It's not easy, but I'm hearing a lot more companies trying to self-publish. In America, if they're in America, they're trying to get publishers, games made in America. UK designers are trying to get their kind of games designed in the UK. Paperboat Games very recently did Snapshot, and they published, I think, most of it. I think all of it here in the UK, and it's done very well. So it is possible, but companies abroad don't make it easy when they're very competitive on their production costs.
Yeah, and there's so many factors that are really hard to understand. Why China is the world's manufacturer. It's not just labor costs. It's so many different infrastructure. I'm not an economist, so I'm not the best person to really talk about it. But just from knowing the industry, like even publishing a game in the U.S. is very difficult because the cost to make a mold for a miniature is so much higher over here. So that initial setup cost goes from like maybe $1,000 to make a mold, or $2,000 in China to $15,000 to $20,000. So if you look at a company like Simon, doing a thing with dozens and dozens of molds worth of miniatures, like having to do that over here would just be impossible because the upfront costs would be astronomical.
Yeah, it is crazy, and talking about that aspect now, because of course you've got several successful games behind you. If you were producing a new one, I don't know what you've got working on in the background. If you've got any projects you're working on that you're allowed to talk about, are you working on anything that you can tell us about?
Well, I just had a game on Kickstarter recently called Collab that I designed with John Meatling from Portal Dragon Games, who did Palm Island. And that one did really well. In it, you are down on your luck mad scientists who have to share a co-working space. So that's why it's called Collab.
Okay, that's nice.
But the kind of clever thing about it is that we're calling it a collaborative worker placement game. It's competitive, but when you send your workers out into the lab, they benefit everybody. So you're constantly like feeding into the other players, and the things that you're doing are helping out everybody. So you have to be careful about not helping out too much, and taking advantage when you can. And the art in it is blown me away. So John's done a fantastic job with all the production, and Magdalena, the artist, is phenomenal.
So is that finished being backing now?
Yep. We funded at the beginning of the year, and I believe fulfillment is planned before the end of the year.
Oh, fantastic! I look forward to seeing that come out then. I mean, of course, some of your previous big titles have gone, and are available and as a back catalogue now. Of course, do you think some of your most recent titles that have been done through Kickstarter, will they still be available, as a through a retailer, or are they all just going to be Kickstarters these days?
I've been pretty lucky, and most of my games have had pretty long tails. I mean, obviously, the goal is always for a game to be evergreen, where it stays in print, like Dead of Winter has and Dinosaur Island have. But like a couple of the weirder things that I've done recently, I did a Ruth Bader Ginsburg party game that's available at Target still. I did an Apollo game based on the moon missions.
Okay.
And it's a cooperative game with a limited communication. So one player plays ground control, and the amount that you can talk to the astronauts is limited. So the astronauts can all work on solving their problems, but ground control that has all the information is limited on what they can tell them. And that's available at Target as well, which is it's cool to have a Target exclusive game. The downside is that people outside of the US have a hard time getting it.
Yeah, I was gonna say because that does. I'm not sure. I'm not heard of that one. And that sound actually, I like the sound of that.
I'm really proud of that one, and it was a really unique design challenge. We had a very small window of time, so it's one of those designs that the fail faster philosophy that I embrace as a designer really benefited us because my co-designer Sarah and I, she worked in the office with me. And over the course of like a month and a half, I think we play tested it like 80 or 90 times, and reiterated and changed stuff in a really fast manner that allowed us to, meet some difficult deadlines. But it was a lot of fun to design that one.
Yeah, sounds really cool. Definitely want to check out. Like I said, it might be hard to get in the UK, but I'll definitely give it a good Google.
You never know. We might be able to get it on Amazon.
Who knows?
You never know.
Or the BGG market might be your best bet. People, selling old copies of it.
Yeah, that's very true. And if there's anyone watching the show, they've got a copy. We do have a buy-in trade on our Discord. So if you've got a copy, let us know. So that's cool. That's ace. I'm looking forward to trying that one. Of course, we are always kind of seeing more and more coming out. Do you think you're going to be having anything more, on the horizon soon?
Yeah, I kind of took a little break from design for a while because of some life stuff going on. So kind of in like the last 8 months or so, I've started to get back to designing. So I've got a bunch of projects that I'm resurrecting. A bunch of new projects in the work that I'm pretty excited about.
Oh, okay. And are you doing those as a Kickstarter, or are you working with a publisher?
I always worked with publishers. I have no interest in self-publishing.
Okay.
My advice that I always tell people that want to self-publish is decide if you want to be a designer or a publisher, because it's very hard to be both. Usually once you start self-publishing, your customer service, your logistics, your everything else, and you don't have time to design.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
That is a very good point. And that kind of leads nicely onto my next question, because of course, what would be your biggest tips? If someone's out there and they've got a game they want to design, how would you recommend they approach to get it published? What would be your top tips?
So, my top tip is absolutely fail faster. The longer that you spend thinking about your game, the harder it's going to be to make the physical thing be as good as what's in your head. So the faster you get it to the table and accept the fact that it's going to be very bad at first, the quicker you're going to make it good. So a lot of times, like now when I started design, like we'll just have 1 or 2 mechanics and not even an end game or scoring or anything else. And we'll just test those 1 or 2 mechanics and then, start building on them and figuring out what works and what's fun and focus on that. So, just fail faster and focus on the fun and make the game that you want to make, and it will resonate with people.
That's a really useful tip. Thank you very much. I'm sure there'll be quite a few people that will find that interesting and useful.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, good. So I think we've covered quite a lot, and we're doing really well for time at the moment. Guys, have you guys got any questions for Jonathan at this moment in time?
I was just going to talk a little bit about more Dead of Winter, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I imagine once I play Dinosaur Island, I'll be obsessed with that one. But at the minute, my current obsession is Dead of Winter. I was just thinking for what you said earlier. I like making people happy and creating good memories, and I just want to say thank you because you definitely did that for us. With Dead of Winter back in the day.
Thank you for playing it.
It's quite a serious game in tone, but some of my favorite moments are the more absurd things that happen. Like I love Sparky the Wonder Dog. Whoever designed Sparky is a genius because he just makes every situation hilarious. So I think we had a moment where Sparky the Wonder Dog, he went out and he discovered a fuel truck and then he drove it back to us, which I just thought was fantastic.
So there's a funny creation story behind all the characters.
Really? Cool.
I don't think we've ever told it before.
Go for it. Oh, do tell then.
All right. So when Isaac started working on it with me, because originally I had started the design on my own, and then he, played it and wanted to co-design it. We were like, we need a cast of like 30 people, because that's how many characters we had in the game.
Yeah.
That looked like they belonged with each other for placeholder art. So we used a cast photo of Lost, the TV show. For
Okay.
So all of the characters are jobs that we made up to match the pictures of all the characters in Lost. So the reason Sparky's in the game is because there was a golden lab in the cast photo, like the dog from the show.
Yeah.
And Forrest, the mall Santa, was because like that old guy from the show just looked like an old mall Santa. So like we like, this person looks like they do this job, and that's where all the characters came from.
Yeah. Love it.
That's brilliant, because at the time, of course, Lost was massive.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to ask you about the character inspiration, so thank you, because I always thought that I was like, they look, some of these characters look like characters from Lost.
It's great. And
I love it.
Yeah, and there's lots of little like celebrity cameos too. Like if you kind of look around, like a lot of them are like, make this person look like this famous person.
I was just going to say, I mean, some of them, was one of them inspired by, I think, Walter White from Breaking Bad, I think. Is he chemist? There is a chemist one, isn't there?
The chemist and the student.
And the student. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. I'm sure one of them looked like Danny DeVito. I'm not sure.
One definitely looks like Danny DeVito.
Oh, it's brilliant. I know Felicia Day, actually. I saw an edition with a Felicia Day character, which was amazing.
Yeah, the Tabletop Day edition, which like I think her promo card at one point was going for like $200.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's insane.
Oh wow! Yeah, I've only seen that digitally. We play it on a tabletop simulator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because we're all like a lot more antisocial these days in terms of not going around people's houses. There's been a bit of a digital renaissance, and so we play it digitally. I own the copy, as you can see. This way.
Yeah. You didn't place that there at all before the show. It's always been there.
It's always there.
Yeah, pride of place. There's a salt pillow in the corner.
I'm always tickled when I watch like a YouTuber or something and see a copy in the background, especially when it's somebody that I love. Yeah. Like I really love the Dead Meat YouTube channel that does the kill counts.
Oh, okay.
And he's got a copy. So like at one point I just sent a message. I was like, hey, I'm a big fan. I hope this isn't weird, but I saw you had a copy of this and I just wanted to let you know. But it always tickles me when I see in the background or something, or like when it was in South Park was amazing.
Oh yeah, South Park love board games, don't they? They drop them all the time. But like I was saying, the characters are fantastic. I think the theme's great in the game. I remember Sparky, the Wonder Dog, was shooting with a sniper rifle at some point as well. He's a very clever dog.
He's a good boy.
Definitely my favorite character. I think the expansion had a monkey as well, didn't it? I
think the last expansion did, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I've lost track. How many expansions are for it now? Is it 2 or 3?
Yeah, just 2.
Just
the
2.
Long Night and the Warring Colonies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a game of choice when we're together. Yeah, and like Dan says, even digitally. So if I say it made it to a charity live stream.
No, that's so good.
Yeah,
and digital board games are so great right now. They've been the majority of the gaming I've done. We play on Board Game Arena all the time because the selection there is just so great.
It's similar. I mean, I've mentioned this before, but it's kind of ironic. So before board games, I was more into video games. But I work in IT, so I was staring at a computer at work, going home, staring at a computer. So then I kind of went to board games because it was nice to have a hobby that wasn't staring at a screen.
Yep.
And now it's gone the other way. I'm actually now playing video games of board games, basically digital versions of board games.
Yeah.
Crazy times.
Yeah. We're avid fans of games on Steam and on Tabletop Simulator. So yeah, it's nice that a lot of designers are adding it into their Kickstarters and to their design process now, because of course being able to play test during COVID and the whole lockdown situation, it was nigh impossible. And let's face it, You know, as I'm sure some people's partners would be like beating them to death with their own board game if they had to keep playtesting the same thing over and over again. Yeah. So, you know, these platforms are meant for it. And it works really well. And the fact that people are now building it into and recognizing solo play, digital play as part of the rewards, because I think it's brilliant.
Yep, we did both for CoLab. We had it available on Tabletop Simulator and Tabletopia during the entire campaign. In fact, it's still up. Like, you can just go play it for free right now before it comes out. And I think there's only a net benefit for that. Like, you're going to lose some sales because people play it and not like it, but those people aren't going, like, if they bought it and played it and didn't like it, they're not going to show it to other people anyways.
Yeah,
so, exactly.
Like, you're not losing sales, you're only going to gain them.
Yeah, if it doesn't make it to your shelf, it's being traded off somewhere, I'm sure.
Yep.
Yeah, we've had a comment coming from Pete as well. I love digital board games as it allows people who don't live locally, like myself, can still join in on game nights. Still prefer physical, but digital definitely has its place. Yeah, I love Dead Tree. That's what we call it, Dead Tree format. But digital does have its uses, without a doubt. Dead Tree is my favorite.
One of my favorite complaints during the Dinosaur Island Kickstarter campaign was people got very, very upset that the dinosaurs were all plastic and not wood.
Okay.
Because they're like, oh, wood feels so much nicer and like plastic is cheap. I was like, yeah, but plastic is made from oil, which is dinosaurs. So the dinosaurs are made out of dinosaurs. So that's just better, right?
I love that. Good, great argument. Excellent. Brilliant. I love it. That's fantastic. Well, speaking of Dinosaur Island again, I love I'm looking at the artwork on my other screen right now, and I must say the artwork is fantastic on it. There's almost got a little bit of a vibe of oh my god, what are the big monsters? King Kong, not King Kong.
T-Rex talking about.
Who's the
Kaijus.
dinosaur?
Godzilla.
Kaijus, yeah. You almost get a little kaiju, almost Godzilla feel from the artwork. It's really nice.
Yeah, Quan Chai is the artist on that one, and one of the artists that I always want to work with. Quan Chai and Beth Sobel both have done art for a couple of my games, and every time I'm so excited to find out they're working on a project.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
Totally agree. New board game smell is almost as good as new book smell.
It's intoxicating.
In the same way, the old board game smell has just that lovely, has that same love that old books do as well.
Thanks, Pete.
When you get an unpopped board game, that's the best.
Has a Godzilla vibe, yeah. But yeah, unpopping board games is a whole nother ASMR topic. We were talking about that just before.
I'm not allowed
you
to because the wife has to do it all.
Yes, Sui's obsessed. My wife likes doing it as well.
I have to beg for my opportunities to do popping the punch boards.
I have to open up games like after the kids go to bed, or else they'll want to punch everything.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a game still in the box because the wife wants to open it, and I was like, I want to do an unboxing. And she's like, I'm doing the unboxing. Fine, so I've got to film my wife doing it.
I mean, on the topic of kids, I mean, my game room is currently locked because I've got a son and he's 3 years old. So one of my night terrors is him breaking into this room and mixing all the boxes together, all the components. So hopefully.
Night terror. Love it.
You wait till your kid's older, then you'll understand, Chris.
Oh, she breaks into my office now. Okay. And I had a pile of loose Lego in the corner that I hadn't sorted. Yeah, and she's going through it all and adding it to the stuff I'd sorted. I'm like, no.
I at one point when my kids were much younger, two of them got into the game room and dumped out 35 board games into a pile.
See Chris's face. That's night terrors there. That's what you wake at night.
Yeah. I don't think I could cope.
But still, it means you just have to play all of them, then to find all the pieces again.
Oh, it was like a week and a half of trying to sort pieces out because I mean it was thoroughly mixed together.
Thing is that I can
God.
imagine some people would absolutely love sorting it all out again.
I do love sorting stuff out. It's very relaxing to me.
Yeah, my wife does. She gets almost obsessive about get the opportunity to reorganize and resort a room or the kitchen, and she's well happy. But I saw Grant at I think we might know who I mean. I can't remember his surname right now, but he's a comedian, but also does a lot of reviews on. And he was at Gamma, and they had a table flipping competition, and I was like, I watched it, and I was just like, no. And I think Steph was like that as well.
Oh, it's like the Tom Vassell component dumps when he does a review.
Oh yeah, he just tips them.
They make me want to cry every time I see it.
Yeah. It makes me cringe.
Oh, no.
I know Chris is very precious about his game components. That's why he never plays legacy games. If you have to destroy the components, right, Chris? See, there we go. Frozen again.
That's the best. That's one of my favorite innovations.
Thank you. Thank you. They will make the game more exciting.
Okay, then don't play Iron Man Magic.
But that's insanity. Nobody plays that. Come on, you might as well just burn money out of you.
It's a real thing.
Just
I'm not
play
making
for
it up.
actual
Iron Man Magic.
Notes of money and just rip them up when you get.
It's faster.
Yeah.
Usually cheaper too.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, since we talked about legacy games, what's your favorite style of legacy game then, Jonathan?
Oh, I really like the Exit series of escape rooms. I think for $15, they're an incredible experience. And every time I play them with somebody new, and they're like, "Wait, you just throw this in the trash when you're done playing it?" I mean, yeah. Did we have $15 worth of fun? Because I thought we did, so it seems well worth it.
Yeah, it's cheaper than on a night out or going for a meal, isn't it? It's
yeah. We couldn't have all seen a movie for that price.
Yeah,
and we had a better experience at home solving this mystery. So
yeah.
I love things like that. I mean, I love all the Pandemic legacy games. I'm really excited for the Jurassic Park one that's coming out.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I saw the announcement from that, and I'm hoping to maybe talk to them. I think Cosmos are releasing it here.
Mm-hmm.
And they just literally posted it out to me yesterday. So I was about to talk about that. So thank you.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we can get to see it at UK Games Expo, because that does look good. That appeals to me.
Yeah.
Exactly. There you go, Dan. I've said it. A legacy game.
There is a legacy game you will try. And will you rip up the cards, Chris? Will you rip up the cards? Come on, it'll be good for you. It's character growth, Chris. Come on.
No. Pete agrees with me. Pete agrees with me.
That's figures. That's different, Pete. You stay out of this.
So there you go. Steph loves exit games. She's just finished Dead Man on the Orient Express. I'm also a backer of the Jurassic Park legacy game. Yeah,
it's why I don't mind spending about 60 quid or whatever the price is for a legacy game, because it's you get like Pandemic Legacy Season 1 that cost me about 50-60 pounds, but we played that about 15 times.
Yeah,
15-16 times. So we totally got our money's worth. And by the end of it, we had a finished product. I mean, we can't play through the story ever again because we already know all the twists and everything, but we definitely got our money's worth. But
you have all those memories. Like, I remember when we played Risk Legacy when it first came out, and
not the same, Pete. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll never throw out that box from Risk Legacy, even though we'll never play it again. There's so many good memories in it.
Well, you mounted it on the wall, didn't you?
The map. Now, to make me seem extra sad, I actually framed Pandemic Legacy Season 1. I've got it on my wall. The final map.
Did you play Risk Legacy?
No, I didn't actually. But I heard that was like one of the original Legacy games, wasn't it?
It was the very first one that Rob did. It was fantastic. My favorite part about it was that there was an envelope hidden under the insert.
Yeah.
That says, because they have the triggers written on them. Yeah. And the trigger for that one was "Do not open ever."
Yeah.
So you're just never supposed to open that up. And we did after we finished the entire thing. And we never played it after that.
Oh, God, I really want to know what's in there.
No spoilers for anyone. You can tell us after we've gone off.
Everyone should play it and open that packet when they're done. And there's actually, I think, 3 different variants, so you don't even know which one you get.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cool. Okay, I like the sound of that.
I mean, like Risk
Dan,
is one of those games that's kind of those classic games that I kind of got a bit bored of. So I guess I probably didn't. Risk Legacy didn't jump out at me, but the maybe the Legacy format adds a lot to the game. I guess.
And there's a ton of rule improvements. Like
Yeah.
it's the best version of Risk to start with.
Yeah.
Oh right, okay. That sounds positive then, because I'm not the big fan of the original Risks.
I mean, I grew up playing them, so like I had that emotional attachment to it. But
Yeah.
like they made it like you're playing to 3 objectives, so it's much faster. The games are about 45 minutes to an hour.
Mhm.
There's no ridiculous standstill that happens in it.
Yeah.
We completely ruined Australia in our game because one person kept taking it every game, so we just destroyed it.
Just nuked Australia. I think one of our team might be distressed to hear that, Chris.
Yeah. Julian's not on tonight, I'm afraid, so he couldn't make it. Got other commitments, but he's our Diary of a Lincoln Geek all the way down under.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes, Diary of a Lincoln Geek is not really localized to Lincolnshire anymore.
It started off with in Lincoln, but we've kind of
we've kept the name, but it's spreading around the world. We've got.
I assumed it was a historical podcast about Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, that was our original thing. We went really off topic.
Yeah.
If we could talk more about Abraham Lincoln, please.
Yeah, no, sorry, sad disappointment. No, it's growing. You know, the podcast is doing well. We've got a lot of listeners in the US and Germany as well as the UK, which is always nice. And the live show is just going, beyond the realms of positive feedback all the time. So it's always great to hear. I mean, of course, obviously, you've been on lots of kind of live streams and chat shows, and I know you've played a lot of games. Am I right in question that you were just doing a tabletop simulator? Was it last night?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember what it's called.
Galactic Cruise.
Galactic Cruise, yes. What did you think?
I loved it.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the pandemic, because I was taking a little bit of a break from designing, I started offering my service to new designers where, they can hire me to play test their games, and, I'll help give them directed feedback and make it more marketable and, help connect them with publishers and things like that. So I had done some development on it, which was, why I got involved. And then, they asked me to do the 100th playtest, and I was like,
I was going to say it's the 100th, wasn't it? Yeah. I couldn't watch it live, but I'm hoping to catch it later. No spoilers, but I'm looking forward to watching it. But I thought that was interesting, the fact that you were involved with the 100 show.
Yeah, it's a great game. I'm excited. What's that?
I was saying it's ironic that you were on our show the next day. So, but that's another one that we've seen coming through the ranks, being developed and designed on Tabletop Simulator, seeing loads of content and games being designed by people through the Facebook community. It's massive. The gaming community is so supportive. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the level of approachability is great too. Like there's so many established designers that just hang out in all those Facebook groups.
Well, that's how we arranged you coming on the show.
Yeah. And I mean, I had help all throughout my career, so that's just something I want to pass on to other people, and help out whoever I can.
Yeah, it's great. Well, look, we've nearly come up to the hour. That's just gone so quick.
So quick.
Really quick. I could.
That just means I'll have to be on again some other time.
Yeah. We're happy to have you back on.
You're
always welcome. If you ever want to come on and talk about a new game that's coming up, give us a shout.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
this is great.
The schedule is on the website, so if anyone who is watching and wants to see what's coming up on the coming months, then of course you can go check out Google Let's Talk Board Games or Diary of a Lincoln Geek, and it'll all be there. Yeah, it's been a really wonderful show. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for joining us. It's been lovely chatting.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. And again, Steph says definitely you can come back for another session.
Absolutely. Just let me know when.
Just join the team.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Might be a bit early for you.
It is kind of middle of the day right now.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you. There's a time difference, and thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
No,
it's my pleasure.
Pleasure chatting to you. I look forward to speaking to you again soon. In the meantime, everyone, again, it's been a great show. Do remember you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course our official website, which is doalg.co.uk. And if George was telling you about this, you'd also say if you like typing in long things, you could type in diaryofalinkinggeek.com. And of course, you can also check out that all-important Discord channel at the very bottom of the screen as well, because we have an active Discord and we chat on there quite a lot. So if you want to play a game with us, you're always welcome. So yeah, I've been Mr. Chris from Diary of a Linking Geek. Take care, stay safe, everyone, and keep gaming.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.